Almost half the people using Buy Now, Pay Later paid at least one bill late last year, and a quarter of them are now using it to buy groceries. Buy Now, Pay Later was sold to you as the friendly alternative to credit cards. No interest, no hard credit check, just split any purchase into 4 easy payments. It feels almost too generous, which raises the obvious question. If nobody's charging you interest, how is this an enormous, profitable industry? Somebody is paying, and it's worth understanding who. Here's the basic mechanic. You buy something for $50. Instead of paying it all at once, a company like Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay pays the store the full amount immediately, and you repay that company in 4 chunks over about 6 weeks. To you, it looks free. And often, if you pay on time, it genuinely is, at least in direct fees. So where's the money? The first answer is the store. When a merchant offers Buy Now, Pay Later, they don't get the full sale price. The BNPL company takes a cut, often somewhere between 3 and 6% of the purchase, roughly double what a normal credit card transaction costs the merchant. Which raises an obvious question. Why would a store willingly pay double the fee? Because it works. Offering Buy Now, Pay Later reliably makes people spend more. Shoppers buy pricier items, abandon their carts less often, and come back more frequently when a big number is broken into 4 small ones. Retailers who add BNPL routinely report higher average order values, which is the entire reason they tolerate a fee that eats deeper into each sale. The store happily pays a bigger fee because the option makes you, the customer, spend more than you otherwise would. And that's the first real cost, and it's a psychological one. Splitting $50 into 4 payments of $12.50 doesn't just change how you pay, it changes what you're willing to buy. That $12.50 feels almost free next to the full price, so you reach for the more expensive option. Or you buy the thing you'd otherwise have talked yourself out of. The friction that used to stop you from overspending quietly disappears. Now stack that habit across multiple purchases. Studies show a majority of Buy Now, Pay Later users are juggling more than one loan at the same time. Each individual plan feels small and manageable, but 4 payments here, 4 payments there, across 3 or 4 different apps, and suddenly you have a web of overlapping due dates that's genuinely hard to track, with no single statement showing you the full picture of what you owe. And this has become completely normal for an entire generation. These aren't niche apps used by a desperate few. PayPal, Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay are each used by a huge share of BNPL users, and adoption is heaviest among younger people who came of age treating Pay in 4 as just another button at checkout, as ordinary as choosing a shipping speed. When a financial product becomes invisible, people stop treating it like debt at all. And that's precisely the point. And this is where the friendly product starts to bite. Nearly half of all Buy Now, Pay Later users paid at least one installment late in the past year, a number that has climbed sharply 2 years in a row. Miss a payment, and the fees appear. Klarna charges up to $7 per missed payment. Afterpay charges up to $8. Sezzle can charge a rescheduling fee of up to $10 every time you miss. On a small purchase, those fees are enormous in percentage terms. A $7 late fee on a $30 order is like paying over 20% on top of the price for being a few days late. The interest-free promise quietly stops applying the moment your life gets slightly messy, which, for a lot of people, is exactly when they reached for the option in the first place. And even providers that proudly advertise no late fees at all still make their money elsewhere, because a company that charged you literally nothing ever would not be worth tens of billions of dollars. The absence of a visible fee never means the absence of a cost. Then there's the shift that genuinely worries economists. Buy now, pay later started with discretionary stuff, sneakers, electronics, concert tickets. But now roughly a quarter of users are financing groceries with it, nearly double the rate from just a year earlier. When people start splitting their food bill into 4 payments, that's not a shopping preference, that's a sign the underlying budget doesn't stretch far enough, and a short-term loan is filling the gap. The regret data backs this up. More than half of buy now, pay later users now say they've regretted at least one purchase they made this way, and that number keeps rising. This is the fingerprint of buying under pressure, not careful planning. The product is easiest to reach for in exactly the moments you can least afford it. There's another hidden cost most users never see coming: your credit. For years, buy now, pay later was almost completely invisible to credit bureaus, which sounds good until you realize it cuts both ways. Now some providers have started reporting these loans. Pay on time and responsible use might eventually help you. But mispayments and a product marketed as low risk can quietly damage your credit score, affecting your ability to get a mortgage or a real loan later. Regulators worry that frequent, small BNPL loans could even be misread by traditional credit models as a sign of financial stress, penalizing people for using exactly the product that was marketed to them as harmless. Meanwhile, this is very much big business. The global buy now, pay later market moves over $500 billion a year. Klarna alone serves over 100 million customers and went public on the New York Stock Exchange. This isn't a scrappy startup doing you a favor. It's a mature, profitable industry answerable to shareholders. And those shareholders expect growth, which means the quiet pressure inside these companies is always to get you spending more often, not less. Regulators are only now starting to catch up. For most of its rise, buy now, pay later existed in a gray zone, treated neither quite like a credit card nor quite like a traditional loan, which meant many of the disclosure rules that protect borrowers elsewhere simply didn't apply. That gap is part of why the product could grow so fast, so quietly. The rules that might have slowed it down were written for a kind of debt this was carefully designed not to resemble. To be fair, buy now, pay later isn't inherently a scam, and used carefully, it can genuinely be a smart tool. For a planned purchase you could already afford, splitting the cost interest-free is objectively better than paying credit card interest. The problem was never the 4 payments. The problem is that the entire product is engineered to make spending feel weightless, precisely so you'll do more of it. And that's the incentive hiding under the friendly interface. These companies don't make money when you buy only what you can afford. They make money when stores pay them, when you spend more than you planned, and, for a meaningful share of users, when you slip up and pay late. Your restraint is not what this business is built on. So the next time a checkout screen offers to break your purchase into 4 easy, interest-free payments, it's worth pausing on one simple question. Not, can I afford 4 payments of $12.50, but would I still be buying this if I had to pay the whole thing right now, today? Because that gap between what you'd buy and what you'll buy is the entire product, and it's the exact space where a $500 billion industry quietly makes its money. Subscribe to keep learning how the easiest financial choices are often the ones quietly designed to cost you the most, precisely when you can least afford it.